You just made the biggest mistake of your life, the security guard whispered, his face going pale. Maya Williams had just slammed the door in the face of the most dangerous man in Seoul, and she had no idea what was coming. If you want to see how Maya survives what happens next, hit that subscribe button right now. You won't believe where this story goes. Maya Williams stepped off the plane in Seoul with one suitcase and a fresh start. After losing her job, her apartment, and almost everything she owned back in Chicago, she'd accepted a manager position at the Grand Pearl Hotel. It was her chance to rebuild her life far away from her problems. On her first night working the front desk, a tall man in an expensive black suit walked in at midnight with 10 bodyguards. He didn't have a reservation. "I need the penthouse," he said coldly. Maya looked at her computer screen and shook her head. "I'm sorry, sir, the penthouse is booked. I can offer you our deluxe suite instead." The man's eyes turned ice cold. His bodyguard stepped forward, but he raised his hand to stop them. "Do you know who I am?" he asked quietly. Maya straightened her back and met his gaze. "Sir, I don't care if you're the president. Without a reservation, I can't give you that room. Those are the rules." The lobby went completely silent. The man stared at her for a long moment, then smiled, but it wasn't a friendly smile. "Interesting," he whispered. "Very interesting." He turned and walked out, leaving Maya confused. Her coworker grabbed her arm, shaking. "Do you know what you just did? That was So Ji-hoon. He owns this hotel." Maya couldn't sleep that night. She'd refused service to her own boss, the owner of the entire hotel. By morning, she'd probably be fired and on a plane back to America. She arrived at work early, ready to pack her desk, but instead found an envelope with her name on it. Inside was a note written in perfect English. "My office, 9 a.m., don't be late, say Sung-hoon." Maya's hand shook as she rode the elevator to the top floor. When she entered his office, Ji-hoon sat behind a massive desk surrounded by men in black suits. "Sit down, Miss Williams," he said calmly. Maya sat, her heart pounding. "I'm sorry about last night, Mr. So. I didn't know—" He raised his hand, cutting her off. "You're not fired. Actually, I'm impressed. Nobody has said no to me in 10 years. You have something I need. Honesty and courage." He leaned forward, his dark eyes locked on hers. "I want you to work directly for me as my cultural advisor and personal consultant. You'll teach me about American business, attend my meetings, and give me your honest opinion about everything I do. Your salary will be triple what you make now." Maya's eyes widened. "Why me?" Ji-hoon smiled that dangerous smile again. "Because you're the only person in this entire city who isn't afraid of me. I need that. Do we have a deal?" Maya knew she should say no. Everything about this man screamed danger, but she also knew she desperately needed the money. "I have one condition," Maya said firmly. "I won't do anything illegal, and I won't bow down to you just because you're rich and powerful." The room gasped. Ji-hoon's men looked ready to throw her out the window, but Ji-hoon laughed. A real laugh this time. "Deal, Miss Williams. This is going to be very entertaining." Maya's first day as Ji-hoon's advisor was nothing like she expected. She thought she'd be helping with hotel business, but instead she found herself in a private club surrounded by dangerous-looking men. Ji-hoon sat at the head of a long table discussing shipments and territory. Maya's stomach dropped as she realized the truth. Ji-hoon was not just a businessman. He was a crime boss. When the meeting ended, Maya pulled Ji-hoon aside. "What exactly do you do, Mr. CO?" she demanded. He looked at her calmly. "I run a very successful organization, Miss Williams. Some of it is legal, some of it isn't." Maya turned to leave, but Ji-hoon blocked her path. "Where are you going? We had a deal." Maya glared at him. "I told you I wouldn't do anything illegal. I'm not getting involved with the Mafia." Ji-hoon stepped closer, his voice dropping low. "You already are involved, Miss Williams. You know too much now. Besides, you signed a contract. If you break it, you'll owe me $2 million. Maya's blood ran cold. She didn't have $2 million. She barely had 2,000. "You tricked me," she whispered. Ji-hoon's expression didn't change. "I gave you an opportunity. What you do with it is up to you. Now, are you going to run away, or are you going to be brave like you were last night?" Maya's hands clenched into fists. She wanted to scream, to run, to go back to America. But she had nothing to go back to. "Fine," she said through gritted teeth, "but I won't help you hurt innocent people, and I still won't bow down to you." Something flickered in Ji-hoon's eyes. Respect, maybe, or curiosity. We'll see about that, Miss Williams. We'll see. 2 weeks passed, and Maya found herself in a world she never imagined. She attended secret meetings, watched Ji-hoon make deals worth millions, and slowly learned the dark truth about his empire. But she also noticed something strange. Ji-hoon never asked her to do anything truly evil. He seemed to be testing her, pushing her boundaries, watching how she reacted. One afternoon, Ji-hoon called her into his office. "We have a problem, Miss Williams. One of my hotels is being managed by a man who's been stealing money. I need you to fire him." Maya nodded. That seemed reasonable. "Okay, I can do that." But when she arrived at the hotel, she discovered the manager was a single father with 3 children. He'd been stealing to pay for his daughter's hospital bills. Maya's heart broke. She went back to Ji-hoon. I can't fire him," she said. "His daughter is sick. He's desperate." Ji-hoon's face turned cold. "He stole from me. In my world, there are consequences." Maya stepped forward, her fear replaced by anger. "In my world, we show mercy. Fine him, cut his salary, make him pay it back, but don't destroy his family." They stared at each other, neither backing down. Finally, Ji-hoon spoke. "You have 24 hours to come up with a better solution. If I like it, we do it your way. If I don't, he's fired." Maya worked through the night and created a payment plan where the manager would work extra hours and slowly pay back what he stole. Ji-hoon read her proposal and, to her shock, agreed. "Interesting approach, Miss Williams. Maybe you're more useful than I thought." As Maya left, Ji-hoon's assistant whispered to her, "He's never changed his mind before. Never. What kind of magic do you have?" Maya didn't know, but she was starting to realize she had more power in the situation than she'd thought. A month into her new job, Ji-hoon announced they were having dinner with an important American businessman. "This is why I hired you," he explained. "You understand American culture. Help me make this deal." At the fancy restaurant, Maya quickly realized the American businessman, Mr. Davis, was racist. He kept making uncomfortable comments, asking Maya if she was the entertainment, and ignoring her when she tried to contribute to the conversation. Ji-hoon noticed immediately. His jaw tightened and his eyes turned ice cold. "Mr. Davis," Ji-hoon said quietly, "Miss Williams is my most trusted advisor. If you disrespect her again, this meeting is over." Mr. Davis laughed nervously. "I was just joking, Mr. Seo. You Asians are so sensitive." Maya put her hand on Ji-hoon's arm, feeling his muscles tense. "It's okay," she whispered. "I can handle this." But Ji-hoon stood up. "No, Miss Williams, it's not okay." He looked at Mr. Davis with frightening calm. "This deal would have made you $20 million, but you just lost it. Get out of my sight before I do something we'll both regret." Mr. Davis's face turned red. "You're walking away from millions because of her?" Ji-hoon leaned down close to Mr. Davis's face. "I would walk away from billions before I let anyone disrespect my people. Now, leave." After Mr. Davis stormed out, Maya stared at Ji-hoon in shock. "You didn't have to do that. That was a lot of money." Ji-hoon sat back down and poured himself a drink. "Money I can always make, Miss Williams. Respect, once lost, can never be bought back. Remember that." For the first time since meeting him, Maya saw Ji-hoon differently. Maybe he wasn't just a cold criminal. Maybe there was something more underneath. Everything changed on a cold Tuesday night. Maya was working late in Ji-hoon's office building when she heard shouting and gunshots. Her heart stopped. She hid under a desk, shaking with terror. The door burst open, and 3 masked men stormed in. "Where's So's American girl?" one of them growled. Maya held her breath, praying they wouldn't find her. Suddenly, Ji-hoon appeared in the doorway with his bodyguards. A fight broke out, fast, brutal, and terrifying. Within minutes, the attackers were on the ground, and Ji-hoon was pulling Maya out from under the desk. "Are you hurt?" he demanded, his hands checking her for injuries. Maya couldn't speak. She was trembling from head to toe, tears streaming down her face. Ji-hoon wrapped his jacket around her shoulders and carried her to his car. At his private home, he sat her down and gave her hot tea.
Who were those men? Maya finally asked. Ji-hoon's expression was dark. A rival gang. They wanted to hurt you to get to me. Maya's blood ran cold. They came for me? Because I work for you? Ji-hoon nodded slowly. Yes. I'm sorry, Ms. Williams. I never meant to put you in danger. Maya stood up, angry now. You never meant to? You brought me into your criminal world and didn't think I'd be in danger? What's wrong with you? They argued for an hour, Maya screaming about how her life was at risk, Ji-hoon trying to explain that he had protection for her. Finally, exhausted, Maya collapsed on his couch. I want to go home, back to America. Ji-hoon kneeled in front of her, and for the first time, she saw real emotion in his eyes. Please don't leave, Maya. I need you here. It was the first time he'd used her first name, and somehow, that changed everything.
Ji-hoon assigned 6 bodyguards to Maya, but she refused them. I won't live like a prisoner, she insisted. If I can't walk freely, I might as well go back to America. They compromised. She'd have 2 guards who would stay hidden, watching from a distance. But the attack had changed things between them. Ji-hoon started asking Maya about her life, her dreams, her past. She told him about losing everything in Chicago, about feeling like a failure. He listened without judgment, and slowly Maya began to see the man behind the monster. One evening, Ji-hoon took Maya to a secret garden on his property. This is where I come when the world gets too heavy, he admitted. Maya was surprised. I didn't think crime bosses got overwhelmed. Ji-hoon smiled sadly. I didn't choose this life, Maya. My father built this empire, and when he died, I inherited it, along with all its enemies and blood debts. Sometimes I wonder who I would have been if I'd been born into a different family. Maya felt her heart soften. It's never too late to change, Ji-hoon. He looked at her intensely. What if I told you I'm trying? What if I told you that since you arrived, I've been making different choices, showing mercy, choosing peace over violence when I can? Maya's breath caught. Why? Because of me? Ji-hoon stepped closer. Because you make me want to be better. You don't bow down, you don't look at me with fear like everyone else, and you challenge me to think differently. You're changing me, Maya Williams. Before Maya could respond, Ji-hoon's phone rang. His face went pale as he listened. It's your mother, he said quietly. She's in the hospital in Chicago. Heart attack. Maya's world tilted. I need to go home, right now. Ji-hoon grabbed his keys. My private jet is ready. Let's go. As they rushed to the airport, Maya realized something terrifying. She didn't want to leave Ji-hoon behind. Maya's mother survived the heart attack, but she was weak and needed care. Maya's sister, Jennifer, pulled her aside at the hospital. Maya, what's going on with you? You look different. And who's that intimidating Asian man waiting outside? Maya had insisted Ji-hoon stay in America for a few days, and he'd agreed, mostly because he refused to let her travel alone. He's my boss, Maya explained. Jennifer's eyes narrowed. That's not just your boss. I see how he looks at you, and how you look at him. Maya's face heated up. It's not like that. It's complicated. Over the next week, Ji-hoon stayed in Chicago, helping Maya with hospital visits and paperwork. He paid all of her mother's medical bills without asking, over $80,000. When Maya found out, she confronted him. I can't accept this, Ji-hoon. It's too much. He looked confused. Why not? You needed help. I have the money. Maya struggled to explain. In my world, accepting expensive gifts means something. It means I owe you. It means I'm giving up my independence. Ji-hoon finally understood. Maya, I'm not trying to control you. I just wanted to help because you're important to me. Before Maya could respond, her mother called her into the hospital room. That man loves you, her mother said weakly. I can see it in his eyes. But baby, his world is dangerous. You need to decide if you're strong enough to survive it, or smart enough to walk away. That night, Maya sat in her old Chicago apartment, staring at 2 plane tickets Ji-hoon had left on the table. One was a return ticket to Seoul with him. The other was a one-way ticket to anywhere in America she wanted, with a check for $500,000 and a note. Whatever you choose, I'll respect it. Thank you for showing me what real strength looks like. Ji-hoon. Maya chose Seoul. She couldn't explain why, even to herself, but she knew she wasn't finished with that chapter of her life. When she walked into Ji-hoon's office a week later, his face lit up in a way she'd never seen before. "You came back," he said softly. Maya set her bag down. "I came back because I have more work to do. And because someone told me I make him want to be better. I'd like to see if that's actually true." Ji-hoon laughed, a real, genuine laugh. "Challenge accepted, Miss Williams." But Maya's return came with a price. The rival gang that had attacked before had grown bolder. Ji-hoon's second-in-command, a cold man named Kang, pulled Maya aside one day. "You're making him weak," Kang hissed. "Since you arrived, Boss has been soft, showing mercy, avoiding conflicts, making peace. In our world, weakness gets you killed." Maya stood her ground. "Maybe your world needs to change. Maybe strength isn't about violence and fear. Maybe it's about being brave enough to choose a better path." Kang laughed bitterly. "You'll get him killed with that American idealism." That night, Kang's words proved prophetic. A massive attack was launched on 3 of Ji-hoon's businesses. Bombs, fires, and casualties. Ji-hoon's empire was under siege, and everyone blamed Maya's influence. At an emergency meeting, Ji-hoon's entire organization demanded he respond with overwhelming violence. But Ji-hoon looked at Maya. "What do you think I should do?" The room erupted in anger. "You're asking her? She's not one of us." Maya stepped forward, her voice clear and strong. "If you respond with more violence, this war will never end. Find out who's really behind these attacks and cut off the head of the snake. Be smart, not brutal." Ji-hoon made his decision. "We do it Maya's way." Maya's plan worked. Partially. Ji-hoon's intelligence team discovered the rival gang's headquarters, and instead of attacking, Ji-hoon arranged a meeting with their leader. Maya insisted on going with him, despite everyone's protests. At the abandoned warehouse, they met Lee Tae-min, the rival boss. He was younger than Maya expected, with cold eyes and a cruel smile. "So this is the American woman everyone's talking about," Tae-min said. "The one who's making the great Seo Ji-hoon soft." Ji-hoon's voice was ice. "State your terms for peace, Lee. I'm giving you one chance." Tae-min laughed. "Peace? I don't want peace. I want your empire. And I'll start by taking what you value most." Before anyone could react, Tae-min's men grabbed Maya. Ji-hoon lunged forward, but guns were pointed at his head. "Let her go or I burn your entire organization to the ground," Ji-hoon growled. Tae-min pressed a knife to Maya's throat. "You've changed, Ji-hoon. The old you would have sacrificed one person to save your empire. But now you're weak. Choose her life or your organization." Time seemed to stop. Maya saw the agony in Ji-hoon's eyes, the impossible choice destroying him, and she knew what she had to do. "Ji-hoon, don't do it," Maya said firmly. "Your people need you. Don't let them down because of me." Ji-hoon's eyes filled with anguish. "Maya, I can't." "You can," Maya interrupted. "You're strong enough. Do what's right." For a moment, Maya thought she'd convinced him, but then Ji-hoon dropped his gun and raised his hands. "You win, Lee. Take everything. Just let her go." Tae-min smiled in triumph. "Finally, I break the unbreakable Seo Ji-hoon." But suddenly Maya heard a whistle, Ji-hoon's signal. The warehouse exploded with movement as Ji-hoon's hidden team stormed in. It was a trap. Ji-hoon had planned this all along, using himself and Maya as bait. In the chaos, Ji-hoon grabbed Maya and they escaped. But as they drove away, Maya realized something that broke her heart. Ji-hoon had used her as bait without telling her. He'd risked her life for his plan. Maya didn't speak to Ji-hoon for 3 days. He tried everything, gifts, apologies, explanations, but she refused to see him. Finally, he cornered her in the hotel lobby. "Maya, please, let me explain." Maya's eyes were cold. "You used me. You put me in danger without my consent. That's exactly what I was afraid of, that you'd see me as just another tool in your criminal games." Ji-hoon looked desperate. It wasn't like that. I had 50 men positioned around that warehouse. You were never in real danger. I would have died before letting them hurt you. That's not the point, Maya shouted, not caring who heard. The point is, you made decisions about my life without asking me. You're no different from all the other powerful men who think they know what's best for everyone else. Her words hit Ji-hoon like physical blows. He stepped back, and for the first time since she'd met him, he looked truly broken. You're right. I'm sorry, Maya. I thought I was protecting you, but I was really just controlling you, like I control everything else in my life. He turned to leave, then stopped. I'm shutting down the illegal parts of my operation. It'll take time, but I'm going legitimate. Not because you asked me to, but because you showed me there's a better way to live, even if you never forgive me. You changed me. Thank you for that. As Ji-hoon walked away, Maya felt her heart breaking. She'd wanted him to change, but now that he was actually doing it, she realized something terrifying. She'd fallen in love with him. But could she really love a man whose world was built on violence? Could she trust him again? That night, Maya got a call from the hospital. Ji-hoon had been shot. Someone from his own organization, someone who disagreed with his decision to go legitimate, had tried to kill him. Maya ran to the hospital, her heart in her throat. She found Ji-hoon in surgery, fighting for his life. Maya sat in that hospital waiting room for 8 hours. Ji-hoon's entire organization showed up. Bodyguards, business partners, even some of his rivals who respected him. Kang approached her, his face softer than she'd ever seen it. He did this because of you. He chose change over power. In our world, that's unprecedented. Finally, the doctor emerged. He'll survive, but it was close. Maya rushed into Ji-hoon's room and found him weak but awake. You came, he whispered. Maya grabbed his hand. Of course I came, you fool. Did you think I'd abandon you? Ji-hoon smiled weakly. I thought you hated me. Maya took a deep breath. I don't hate you, Ji-hoon. I'm angry, I'm scared, and I'm frustrated, but I don't hate you. She squeezed his hand harder. Here's what's going to happen. If we're going to make this work, whatever this is, you're going to treat me as an equal partner, not someone to protect or control. You're going to ask my opinion before making big decisions, and you're going to follow through on going legitimate, no matter how hard it gets. Ji-hoon's eyes filled with emotion. And if I agree to all of that? Maya felt tears on her cheeks. Then maybe we can figure this out together. But understand this. I will never bow down to you. Not to your power, not to your money, not to your dangerous world. I'm Maya Williams from Chicago, and I don't bow to anyone. Ji-hoon laughed, then winced from the pain. I wouldn't want you any other way. 6 months later, Maya stood beside Ji-hoon at the opening of his first completely legitimate business, a chain of community hotels providing affordable housing.